are you doing?
I'm warm.
Still?
I feel like I've been warm for an entire week now.
Do you think it's the vaccine or something else?
It was definitely the vaccine for a couple of days.
Yeah.
But now it's just like my time of the month going on. So it's all right.
Well,
I'll take it.
It happens. Whatever that means. So this is going to be our last episode of season 2.
Yay!
Because we decided that we're going to do 20 episode seasons.
Mm-hmm. But don't worry, faithful listeners. We will be back with season 3.
When will we be back with season 3?
July 22nd. We're going to take a few weeks off, hopefully do some cool shit, and be back to tell you about it.
Yeah. So this episode, you will be listening to this episode on June 24th. So
Pride Month.
Yeah. It is Pride Month.
Yeah.
Yeah. So June 24th, this episode releases, and then July 22nd, we come back with season 3.
Yep.
With same 2 voices, maybe a slightly different format, but other than that, same stuff you're used to.
Yeah.
No more Invincible, because this is the last Invincible for a while, right?
This is the last of it for a little bit.
I know we've hit people with
there's a lot.
Several episodes of Invincible right here towards the end, but there's so much to cover.
Yeah.
We didn't want to put it all in one
And I want to do it
episode.
justice.
Yeah.
I want to do it in a good way. And I watched all the gory bits, so you don't have to.
Yeah, that's the way to do
That's
it, right?
the tagline for these episodes.
We watched all the gory bits, so you don't have to.
Tonight on Lou and Me, new episodes every Thursday.
This summer, in a world
where your father's a dick,
I've been,
and he beats you to a bloody pulp.
So I've got bad seasonal allergies. Anytime that it gets rainy, I get a little stuffy, and my throat gets a little scratchy.
And you always think it's COVID.
Yeah, but also I've been talking a lot for the last 4 or 5 days. Meetings
games
and games. Yeah. Well, we got a game. It's a narrative game, so you have to read everything out loud to the whole table, and boy. So my voice is hurting a little bit right now. So you are gonna probably talk most of the time in this episode, like normal in the Invincible ones, because they're your recaps. But
I'll do all the talking.
I'll pop in here and there. Otherwise, I'm feeling all right. Oh, down 77.2 pounds.
0.2 pounds.
Yeah.
That's
good.
like a whole 10 or 11-year-old.
I don't know how you know that, but okay.
Because we had 3 of them.
Oh yeah, you track their weight.
I do. I track their
yearly though. It's not like a weird.
Every 6 months, I weigh and measure them just for fun sakes. But I learned my lesson last time because the oldest is 22, and he doesn't like to be weighed so much anymore. He got really upset at me last time. So it's not like he's at a difficult weight. It was just one thing that he didn't care to know. Yeah. And it was, so I've kind of learned my lesson on it. I'm just tracking because I think it's fun and interesting to see how
growth happens.
Yeah. Like the third kid, he's already taller and bigger than me. And so, but he's only 14. So it's just fun because everyone, when we started having kids, the tallest, yeah, when we started having kids, everyone's like, oh my God, you guys as kids are going to be huge. Yeah. And they're not huge. They're not at all.
No,
they're
Liam's
above
about
average.
The same size as my dad was.
Yeah, they're above average. They're all 6 foot, but or more, but they're not enormous. So
no.
Ha to everyone.
Nobody's fat. Everybody's lean and normal.
Can be mean.
Good size, height, 6'1", 6'2". Yeah. But Cameron might end up being tall like me, 6'7".
Liam's 6'1", Bryce is 6 foot and about a half. Yeah. And Cameron's, I haven't measured him yet. June is the measurement month. So I guarantee he's almost 6. He's really close to 6 foot because he was 5'11", which is taller than me. It's an inch taller than me. Yeah. In December. So He's most likely 6 foot this time.
Yeah, I mean, once you get over 6 foot, there's not a lot of difference. Like I'm 6'7", so that means I'm 6 to 7 inches taller than the boys, but they're all looking me in the eye, right? That 6 or 7 inches is my forehead.
Yeah.
Right. It's not like,
Yeah.
So it's not a big, there's not a big difference between it, but I've just always felt kind of outside the rest of society because of my height and stuff.
Me too.
So.
I'm on the taller side lady, and that's not that's not normal. That's not average.
I mean, I recognize that I have height privilege and stuff. Like I don't really even think about cupboards or like going to the grocery store and not being able to reach stuff.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I also can't buy clothes in a normal store.
Yeah.
Low cupboards, fuck that, fuck you. You know, like there's opposite things for tall people. So, you know, but I'm always like really helpful too. Like when we're at the store, if somebody's like, "Excuse me, can you get me that can? How many do you want, ma'am?"
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. If I can't find you, that's usually what you're doing is helping other people.
Help somebody get something down.
Oh, God damn, where are you going? Get back here.
She needs me. I'm not the hero everybody wanted, but I'm the hero they deserve.
Exactly.
Yes, whatever. I don't know what that even fucking means.
No, I don't either.
Speaking of heroes, it's Invincible 7 and 8.
Okay. So
Quote of the week.
All right. We're at the quote of the week.
I like that.
Quote. This week's quote is brought to you by Haley Steinfeld, who I thought would have made a better Katniss.
We both thought that. Yeah, Katniss.
In the movies, you know who I'm talking about.
Yep.
Okay, quote. It needs to be said and heard. It's okay to be who you are.
Yeah.
And with Pride Month as of June 1st, you know, just be you, right?
Yeah.
Be you, be sparkly or not sparkly, be spooky if you want, but just be you. Like for hell's sake, you know.
Yep. Be you and let other people be them.
Yeah. Like it's not all just about you, bro.
Yeah.
That's a good thank you. That's a good one.
I really like Haley Steinfeld.
Yeah, me too. She can sing, she can act.
She's adorable.
She could be physical, like running around like in the Bumblebee movie.
Bumblebee, that's my favorite movie with her in it. Well,
the 80s soundtrack.
The Pitch Perfect movies too. She's in the Pitch Perfect movies.
Yes,
but the Bumblebee is the one.
And she should have been in the Hunger Games.
She absolutely
should have been
100% should have been Katniss, and they should have swapped the actors that played
Peeta and Gale.
Because I think Liam Hemsworth would have made a better Peeta, and Josh Hutcherson would have made a better Gale.
Yep.
But whatever.
Agreed.
And also I really like Woody Harrelson, but get him the fuck out of that movie.
Oh yeah.
Woody Harrelson didn't belong in that movie. Donald Sutherland makes a good Snow, I guess.
Oh yeah. Ugh.
But even like, and I like Lenny Kravitz too, but like Lenny Kravitz as Senna, that didn't make any sense either.
No.
Like a lot of those casting choices were just weird.
Just because they were big names.
Well, no, it's almost like the people making the movie never read the books.
Oh, don't you hate it when that happens?
It was really disappointing. Because
when a fan makes, when a non-Star Wars fan makes a Star Wars movie, you're like, why?
Yeah, why is that
What
happening?
are you doing?
Yeah. Ugh. Yeah, it's just like with board games, right? Like if somebody really loves games, then when they make a game, you can tell.
Yeah.
But when somebody's just trying to make money, you can also tell.
You can also tell.
Right? And it's
Same goes with like manga too. You can tell who really like read up on their history of the character and who really didn't.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it's all frustrating.
Yeah.
But I really love those books. The Hunger Game books.
I haven't, since I know that the movies exist, I haven't been able to read the books again.
Why?
Lately.
But you haven't even seen the movies.
I know, but it's still, you see it on social media here and there, and you're like, oh God, I can't stop thinking about what's her face? That's not the right Katniss. And then you're like, nah.
I don't have anything against Jennifer Lawrence. I just don't think she was right to play that part.
Exactly. Right.
At all.
That's how I feel too.
She didn't look like Katniss. She doesn't, I don't know. It just wasn't good, and I was really disappointed. I went and saw the first one with, I think, Liam in the theater. This was a long time ago, though.
Yeah.
I think we were still in Nashville, Hermitage. I was just so sad, and I didn't watch the other two.
Yeah.
I thought about it. I was like, maybe because I like the property so much, but it was ruined for me.
Yeah,
So I didn't
do it.
But the books are so good.
The books are good.
They're so good.
Some things should just stay as books, I think.
I do feel like something should stay as a book unless it actually has somebody who wants to make it into a good movie, but that really cares. Like Fight Club, I feel like got a good movie adaptation.
Okay,
Holes got a good movie adaptation.
Too
right?
bad.
There are books that can be made into great movies, but then most of the time, though, it just doesn't happen, or it happens in a way that just doesn't really work. Now, that said, and I know a lot of people don't agree with me on this, I think the Harry Potter movies add to the Harry Potter universe, even though they don't follow the books perfectly.
Yeah. Some of my favorite parts in the book never made it to the movies.
I don't think they have to be. I think Harry Potter is one of those things, and maybe it's just because I love that IP so much that I'm like, okay, I just want more.
Yeah.
And I just overlook those things.
Yeah.
You know, because they hit all the main beats, right? They don't really change anything major.
Right.
But they have to truncate. You always have to truncate a book, right? Even the Lord of the Rings 4-hour epic extended version movies have to cut some of the books, right?
I guess. Yeah, you're right.
So, anyways.
I think for me, it's like if I've read the book, I'm not watching the movie. And if I haven't read the book, usually I'll watch the movie. Yeah. Like Lord of the Rings movies, amazing. I've not read the book.
Oh, the book's so hard.
Yeah.
Book's so hard.
I'm not that good of a reader.
No, I think you could. No, that's not what I mean. I just mean it's like dense.
No, I know.
And long.
Yeah.
And the type is all real small because he's got to fit so much in there.
That's what I'm saying.
And he's making up languages, and you're like, ugh.
Like I'm a good.
You have to read some of it in Elven, and you're like, I don't know, man.
Yeah, it's a whole different medium to watch something. Also, I'm the kind of reader that got to go to those special events where you got to bring your sleeping bag to the gym and read and have a pizza party type of thing, and you got to have like a special like visitor come and teach you sign language, and only like it was only the good readers got to go to that. I'm that good of a reader, but I'm not I'm not J.R.R. Tolkien good of a reader. You know what I mean?
I don't know. I don't think it's that complicated. I think he
I got the game right?
Yes.
Okay.
I think he made it more complex.
Yeah.
Than it really needed to be. But it also it was also like
it became its own
project, right? It wasn't just a story. It was this world he was making.
Exactly.
Which I admire. Anyways. All right. Into the episode. Here we go. We're not going to talk about anything else. We're going to go straight into the episode.
All right, we're going to go into episodes 7 and 8 of Invincible.
Invincible, the television program.
All right. So the last time that we visited this universe, Deb had confronted Nolan about that she knows, she has evidence, she has proof that he killed the Guardians, right? And he got all pissy and punched a wall. And she was like, I'm going to bed. You're a loser, right? So she wakes up alone, sees the punched wall, and Nolan expects her to trust him and says he had no choice. Deb tells him to get out of her house because, yeah. And then so he takes off through the roof, like, okay, get out of my house. And then he like busts her roof open.
He flies through the roof.
Yeah, he literally flies through the roof.
To the moon.
Yeah. So she calls Mark, but she can't get a hold of him. And she's trying to warn him that, because she knows exactly what Nolan's going to do.
Yes.
He's going to go and find his kid, and he's going to, twist his head and only pay attention to that thing. So she calls Mark, but she can't get a hold of him. And she gets evacuated by Cecil, who she smacks in the face. Yeah. Full on. Because right now she's just pissed.
Yeah.
That all this has been hidden from her, and all this she's been lied to and treated poorly, and it's going to get worse, I think. All right.
I'd be pissed off too, though.
Yeah. Cecil explains what he knows, and that Mark may be the only one who can stop Nolan or take out the Guardians. So I don't know exactly what he means by that. taken out by the Guardians, maybe. Anyways, he doesn't really fully trust Mark either.
Right.
Because he thought he could trust Nolan, but obviously can't. So he doesn't know if he can trust Mark yet or not either.
Well, yeah, because he doesn't know like if
his dad has corrupted him and how far.
Right.
Mark and Amber and William are coming back from the college tour during this time, and he tells Amber that he's invincible, but she already knows. She's like, I figured it out a while ago, but that doesn't like take away from the fact that you're being an ass.
Right.
And so she's had enough of his crap and kicks him out. She's like, just go, just leave me alone. But he full on tells her, he's, hangs out in the suit, the whole thing. And he's like, hey, look, this is why I'm doing, she's kind of fed up with it. And so then William is mad about Rick because Rick, as we learned, had been turned into one of those, Cyclops robot thingies, right? But Cecil had promised that he would try to help Rick as much as possible, heal from it or whatever.
Yep.
But still trying to pep talk Mark about his life exploding because William's still trying to be a good friend to him. And then still Eve is off living her best life, making coffee and living in her treehouse and watching the sunrise. Amazing. Love her. That's the character I'd be. I'd be like,
she's awesome.
I don't need any of this drama crap. I'm going to fly somewhere and make myself a treehouse.
You tend to
drink coffee.
gravitate towards power sets that include escape.
Just because it just gets too much sometimes. And I go,
no, it's a totally normal thing.
That sounds lovely.
But I always go, you know what would be a cool power? To run really fast or fly. And you're like, I'd love to be able to take vacations in my mind. Right? Like,
or fly off, make a treehouse that nobody else can get to, and drink coffee and watch the sunrise.
100% understandable.
Like, that's fucking legit.
It's 100% understandable.
All right. So now it's going to switch us again to what Monster Girl. So she is finally recovered enough to get a welcome home party.
Yep.
And Rex has filled all the milk containers with beer, so he's ready to party. And Robot, we solidify the fact that Robot has a definite crush and glitches for a second. And we're like, what's that about? And everyone's super weirded out about it.
Yeah. So
then the big blue dudes who we all know and who I had it. They're the Mahler twins.
Yeah.
Yep. After 8 episodes or 7 episodes, I've got it now.
You got it in episode 6.
Yeah. And so they stop a truck that has that blobby baby thing in it, which ends up being the real robot consciousnness.
Yeah.
And so I don't know exactly how this is occurring, but this robot that we know is Robot is actually just one of his drone thingies. And the blobby baby thing in the tube is Robot.
Yep.
And he's been trying to grow his own body this whole time by breaking the Mahler twins out because they are good at replicating tissues or whatever.
Right.
Then he steals a sample of Rex's blood and he gives it to the Mahler twins. And then the Mahler twins steal the Immortal's body, but that's a separate weird thing. And so it turns out that the robot that we do know is just a drone thing.
Right.
And he's been talking through the drone thing by way of this blobby body thing.
Correct.
Oh my heavens, it's disgusting. Okay. So the Mahler twins are growing Robot a body.
Yes.
With Rex's blood. So technically it will be a copy of Rex.
A clone of Rex, yes.
Ew. Okay. So they're going to duplicate the blobby baby thing.
Not to be confused with duplicate.
Yeah, right. Okay, so they're going to, I guess, replicate the blobby baby and make a copy into the new body that they're creating.
Download them into the body.
Ew. Again, gross.
It is gross.
All right.
But also kind of fascinating.
Yeah, so, spoiler alert, there are, of course, problems with this. It ruins the equipment, but it ends up working. And then the blobby baby thing dies.
Yes.
So it worked. They got the consciousness from the blobby baby into the new Rex body, but not Rex body, of robot.
Right.
Oh, yay. Okay. And then the blobby baby thing croaks. So Correct. Now he's a genius thing in a teenage boy's body because they didn't fully replicate it, or they didn't make it mature. They just made it teenage, and then a brain chip. And now he can, as the teenage boy, can go into this big, huge robot mech thing.
Right.
Trying to put the Mahler twins back in prison because he's like, okay, you guys fulfilled your purpose. My other conscious thing is gone. I am now robot / in the teenage boy's body.
Right.
And now I'm in a huge mech and I'm trying to put you back in prison.
Yes.
What could go wrong?
Well, the Mahler twins still want to go back.
No. So they're like, mm-mm. So then the whole mech thing starts blowing up the whole lab.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, boy. So if that wasn't enough drama, Omni-Man is practicing explaining how and why he killed the Guardians to Mark. He's imagining how that conversation would go, which shows a little bit of like, he wants it to go well. He wants his son to be on his side. So it shows a little bit of love and care there that we don't expect from him, especially at this point. So he races home to try to find Mark, but the agency is there and they try to take him out. But Nolan is like fucking shit up, right? He finds that they've been spying on him, surveilling his house and family and stuff. And one of the dudes explodes the house, but it doesn't affect Nolan at all. And he flies off to find Mark, more pissed off than ever.
Yeah.
Which, that's not good. He finds William, but no Mark, and tells him Mark went to go find Eve. So Nolan now has to go find Eve and Mark. But, who knows? Okay, so then it goes back to the teen guy who is now robot, but calling himself Rudolph. So now it's not robot anymore because he's not a robot. Now he's an actual teenage guy, or he's an older conscious. Why do I keep saying conscience? He's an older whatever. He's an older dude in a teenage body, which sounds familiar. And so he's calling himself Rudolph. Right. He goes to the new Guardians as this new Rudolph, and Rex recognizes that Robot has used his blood to make himself a body.
Rex recognizes his younger self.
Yeah. And then it goes back to Mark again. So Mark is with Eve, and he tells her all of his problems, which she's been a good sounding board for him because she's young, he's young. They're both superheroes. They both have like
a lot in common.
Overwhelming lives and overwhelming like having to handle school and all that BS. Yeah. So Cecil finds Omni-Man or Nolan and tries to stop him, tries to delay him from getting to Mark, tries to like just delay him as long as they possibly can so they can get a hold of Mark and see what the hell Mark can do, if anything. Right. He's hitting him with gigantic energy weapon from satellites from the sky. Mm-hmm. But Nolan just flies into space and stops the weapon coming from a satellite. So I don't know how good that was to do. And so Cecil and Nolan have this big, huge fight. And Cecil wants to know why Nolan killed the Guardians. And then all of a sudden, the cyber experiments, the cyborg dudes that Cecil recovered from that Sinclair guy, now he's using them to help fight Nolan. And they start beating the crap out of Omni-Man, but it becomes a bloody mess. And so they sick a green tentacle monster on him to slow him down even more.
Right.
Oh, yeah. Where did the tentacle monster thing come from? So the new Guardians are watching this whole thing on a big screen at their base. And so is Deborah. Deborah's watching this whole thing and watching Nolan monologue and all this stuff about, just terrible things he's saying. So the new Guardians realize that they're the last hope against Omni-Man. And so Mark, it switches to Mark, and Mark is avoiding Cecil and helping anyone. He doesn't want to do it anymore. He's had his fill of it.
Right.
So he's basically having a pity party. But him and Eve fly towards a big boom that they heard, and the boom was Omni-Man fighting this big tentacle monster thing.
Right.
And Deborah gets to talk to Eve because she finally gets a hold of someone. So she's talking to Eve, but Mark sees his father fighting a creature and then flies off to help. So once again, she can't get a hold of Mark to tell him what's actually happening, what's going on.
Right. Mark just wants to help his dad, right?
Yeah. And so there's a news helicopter. Well, now the whole world is seeing that Nolan is a bad dude.
Oh, yeah. They're airing it.
So Cecil doesn't call off the monster, hoping it'll take them both out because he can't trust Mark either.
Right.
Yet completely. He doesn't know what's happening, so he's hoping that the tentacle monster will take out Mark and Nolan.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good hope.
Yeah, but doesn't work. Mark and Nolan fight off the tentacle thing. And then it goes back to the Mahler twins. So the Mahler twins are working after Rudolph leaves the lab. Mm-hmm. They are trying to bring back the Immortal, and the Immortal wakes up all freaked out.
Right, of course.
Yeah, and so he knows that Omni-Man killed him and the rest of the Guardians. So he wakes up pissed. He's like me almost every morning. He just wakes up just ready to rip everyone's heads off. And so he flies off and he attacks Omni-Man.
Yeah.
Which I didn't know that he could fly, but yeah, this dude can fly too.
Immortal?
Yeah.
Yeah, he can fly.
So Mark is fighting off the tentacle dude and Omni-Man is fighting the Immortal.
Right.
So, blood everywhere, just galore.
Yeah, because they're not equal, but they're close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he seems to be doing a good job until Omni-Man punches a hole right through the Immortal. Once
camera.
again, on camera, the news chopper is got it all on, and Deborah's seeing it, and the new Guardians are seeing it. Everyone's seeing it, and then he chops him like right in half. I don't know how. He just like punches a hole through him, and then just kind of like
rips him apart.
him apart in half. It's fun, right in front of Mark too. Mark is like, this is new information.
Yep.
And then again, the news chopper is showing the whole thing. And then credits. So that's episode 7.
Yep. After a credit scene, what happens?
Goodness. There is no after credit scene
for
this one,
oh.
which was unusual because we were used to getting an after credit scene.
Yeah.
But lucky for everyone, we get to go right into episode 8.
Episode 8.
Yeah. Okay, so we're still in it. Mark and his dad just looking at each other.
It just picks right back up at the fight, right?
Exactly.
Yep.
Mark thinks someone is controlling him. He's like, wake up. What are you doing? There's got to be something controlling you. Just stop it. And Nolan tells him the real backstory, right? You're
the Viltrumite, yeah.
You're Viltrumite. I came here to keep the Earth weak. Viltrum, where he's from, is a dominating legion. Each officer was given a planet to weaken so that Viltrum can take them over. Mm-hmm. And Mark is, of course, very, very, very upset. He feels he's been lied to and tricked, and now he is a Viltrumite, and now the responsibility goes on to him.
Yep.
And that also something we didn't know exactly, that Viltrumites live for thousands of years.
Yeah.
And this kind of hits Mark all at once, and he's just kind of very upset about it. And so, the most devastating thing of this whole entire series is now Mark is trying to like, what are you talking about? You're my dad and you love me and mom, and what's going on? And Nolan says back to Mark, who is his son, something that is just, made me cry. He says that Deborah, his wife, and supposedly the woman that he loves and chose to spend some of his life with, is more like a pet to him.
Yikes.
OMG.
Yeah, that's rough.
Good lordy.
But I want to say, and I think we've said this before, but I think Stephen Yoon is doing such a good job.
Yeah. Yeah.
Really believe him as that character. Mm-hmm. It's awesome.
Yes.
Awesome performance.
So Mark, of course, stands up to him about not wanting any of it and tries to stop him, but it turns ugly so super quickly. Yeah. And so he's beating the crap out of his own son. And then jets shoot at him, but it does nothing. He takes the jets out very easily. So Nolan is now going on a rampage as Omni-Man in costume, the whole thing. And so now the news chopper is still going. And so the whole world is seeing that, we all in trouble.
Yep.
So Mark saves one of the pilots. And like just in the nick of time, but Omni-Man freaking comes up behind and smashes the pilot's head in, just being a total fucking asshole, and punches Mark so hard he takes out a whole city block. Gross.
That's crazy.
And Cecil and Deborah are watching this whole thing, and Deborah cannot believe her eyes. He's supposed to be the dude that she loves and that is supposed to protect the planet and be this superhero, and he's not at all, failing miserably. And Nolan keeps saying all these terrible things to Mark. Mark is getting more and more upset, and he's trying to fight back, but he just really can't. And he takes Mark by the back of the head, holds him still while a whole train comes crashing into them and kills everyone on the train, and bloodies up Mark's face and body and just not even caring whatsoever.
Because the train's going through them, but they're just kind of like staying still, so they're devastating and decimating everything in their wake. Yeah.
Gross.
It's actually a pretty cinematic and powerful scene. Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
I don't want to say cool, but it's visually cool, but it's also cruel and gory and gross and horrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. But it's a perspective we don't get to normally see.
It's also one of the many benefits of animation.
Yeah, because you can really do anything.
Do anything you want. Yeah.
Yeah. But they're doing a really good job by point of view and, the whole like camera angle where we are watching it from and stuff. Yeah. It's pretty cool and interesting in that way. Yeah. But the subject matter is just awful.
Yeah.
So Omni-Man says just flat out, he is loyal to Viltrum and not to Earth at all. He doesn't care. He sees everyone on Earth as insects, including Mark now at this point, and his mother, apparently. Mark keeps trying to fight back, but it does absolutely nothing. He's throwing him and punching him and not caring about who or what is in the road. Oh, it's terrible. So the new Guardians fly out and try to save lives. They're just trying to save people that are getting caught up in the middle of all this nonsense and terrible stuff happening. And Nolan finally says, "What's 17 years? I can always start again and make a new kid."
Wow.
Oh, that's even worse than what he said about his mother.
Yeah, that's crazy.
My goodness.
From his point of view, right? Thousands of years he lives. So 17 years is just...
It's just absolutely nothing to him.
Yeah, it is nothing. It's...
Wow. Ew.
What is it? It's like 5 years to us?
Yeah, it's like, a snap of the finger.
Yeah, well, I guess how many thousands of years? I was just thinking 1,000 years.
Yeah, but
and we lived 100 years, so it's 10 times. But I get, If it's thousands, it could be 10,000, right?
Yeah. So right after he says that, he starts rapid punching him right in the face. Something unusual happens. He flashes in his head. He flashes back to a baseball game when Mark was little, and Deborah was trying to show him real humanity, and you can see the love in Nolan's eyes for his kid.
Yeah.
And so he stops punching him and says, "Why did you make me do this?" Which is super abusive town.
Yeah.
Not to, real rude behavior.
No, it's classic abuse.
But it does stop him. And I think it caught him off guard as much as us, the audience.
Yeah, I think his "why did you make me do this" is as much "why did you make me feel
Yes.
love" as it is "why did you make me beat you up." Yeah.
Or even saying it to himself, to Viltrum, to everything who he is too.
Right. Oh yeah, that's even deeper. Yeah.
Yeah,
I like
it's
that.
just the whole thing is overwhelming to him.
Yeah. Layers. It's got layers.
Yeah.
It's an onion.
He says, "What will you have after 500 years?" And Mark says, "I'll still have you." And that just makes Nolan fly away.
He
can't.
says it through a completely pulped face.
Yeah, his face is
Destroyed.
pulverized.
Yeah.
And he's still fighting for him, for his dad, for the guy who has always been his hero.
Yeah. That's what makes Mark invincible.
Yeah.
Not
Because he
his
keeps
strength.
trying.
It's heart.
Yeah. Which we all could use, I think.
Yeah, we all could.
So Cecil finds Mark and tries to save him again and console Deborah again. And, Cecil's almost more dependable at this point than Nolan.
Yeah.
And wanting to take care of them and like, okay, now we know that, Invincible could maybe help us fight Nolan off and keep him. Because as we find out later, it's not, okay, that's maybe as a spoiler. Okay, we'll get to that. So he finds Mark, he tries to save him. The world knows that Omni-Man is a villain, but no one has seen him. Like he flies off and goes underground or something. We don't know what's happened to him. So then the Mahler twins eventually do get arrested. The Guardians help look for survivors, and they're doing what they can to help and save people. Mark is battered and broken, but his mom is by his side the whole time doing her mom thing. But he's real sad, and so is she, and they can't really help each other too much because they both have a huge stake in what Omni-Man is and who he is. Cecil says that to keep Omni-Man's identity secret, to keep Deborah and Mark safe, they say that Nolan Grayson has died in the house explosion. And then cue the music montage, right? Everyone is sad. The Guardians are practicing being a team. 2 weeks later, William and Eve go to check on Mark at his house. And Mark is healing, and Cecil asks him if he wants to still be a hero, and that his mother heard everything, which upsets Mark, because Mark is now super protective. No one should be hurting like his mom.
Yeah.
So they take a walk to a lab. Something is said where it's kind of insinuated or something, where Cecil says, "Don't drink the tap water."
Yeah.
Just trust me. Just don't do it.
Yeah, just don't drink that tap water, man.
Mark doesn't want to decide if he'll be a hero anymore. And so Mark and Deb go home, but Mark has some flashbacks of good, but mostly bad things. So PTS for sure. Mark goes in to check on his mom, but she's really upset and sobbing. So he just kind of lets her be. And Amber and William and Eve show up and check on Mark. So they all go out. They go out and they go to a diner. And Debbie visits the superhero suit making tailor guy, and she can't believe that all their time together was a lie, and so they drink together. They're finding solace in they've both been lied to, but they're both adults too. It's not like, because I'm sure on one hand you want to be like, fuck this guy hurt me and lied to me and all that, but that's your kid's dad too.
Right. Yeah.
So you don't want to be shitty to your kid's dad. Or about that would hurt your kid more on top of everything that he's already done to him.
Yeah.
Is to alienate him from his dad. Cecil calls Mark and asks if he'd help because there's someone flying toward Earth and they don't know who. And so Invincible once again flies off to maybe do some good or to try to do something. And it's the alien Cyclops guy. What's his name?
Alan.
He warns him that a Viltrumite is living on Earth and was like, hello, that's a little too late. The coalition of planets is trying to stop Viltrum. And so they wanted Alan to go and warn Earth. And so there's another music montage of chaos. All the bad stuff that has been kept at bay is laying in wait now and planning more shit. So it's like all those villains that Invincible and Nolan have been keeping away are now like, they're planning more stuff. But and so Alan goes, well, what are you planning on doing? And Mark just goes, finishing high school, I guess.
Yeah.
And that the end of season 1.
End of season 8 or episode 8, season 1, right?
Yeah.
So what do you think of the whole show?
Phew.
Do you like the show, first of all?
I do like it.
Are we going to watch season 2?
I think so.
Are we going to podcast
I don't
about season
think
2?
so. I don't think so because
it's a lot of work, right?
It is. It
is
is a lot
because
of
you
work.
can't just enjoy the episodes. You have to take a bunch of notes and
and it's really pretty heavy because also you start to see parallels in certain things. Like, if you grew up with not such a good dad, and you're like, oh well, at least he wasn't a superhero, like beating me in the face, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, it kind of felt like that as a young kid getting talked to in in crappy ways. It still felt like getting hit.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you can kind of you can apply this crazy adulty kind of cartoon to your own life.
Yeah,
but
it's a cartoon superhero, but it's got really heavy thematic ties, right? Like, it's an interesting. It's why I like the comic book so much, is because it's kind of just tackling the whole superhero story from a different angle and not the angle you think at first.
Yeah,
right. Like it's kind of a twist. Yeah, it's a twisted one.
It went a totally different way than I thought it would.
Yeah, and it just gets. In the case of the comic book, at least, it just keeps getting better.
Yeah.
There's some disagreement over how it ends, but I liked the ending personally. I feel like it was a good wrap.
Yeah.
There's also some talk that, Kirkman's writing starts to get lazy after a certain point on both books, on both Walking Dead and Invincible, because you can clearly tell he's no longer that interested in the property or whatever.
Yeah.
But that's just all like fan bullshit. I don't feel that way. I don't think that that's actually what happens.
Yeah.
I just think he grows as a person. Like, you can't work on something for years and not change over that period of time, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's why like musicians and other artists have periods where people are like, I didn't like that period for that artist, right? Like Metallica comes to mind when they cut their hair. And then put out the Black Album, and people were like, they're not the same as they used to be.
Yeah.
Well, no, they're not.
They have to evolve.
They got older, and their taste changed, and their skill level changed, and they're not bad.
Right.
They're just not the Metallica of Master of Puppets that you rocked out to in your Trans Am.
Right.
They're now a new Metallica that's still great.
Yeah.
Just different. Right?
Yeah, things have to change and evolve and stuff.
If you're not evolving as an artist,
right,
then why are you doing it at all?
Exactly.
Right? Are you just doing it for a paycheck? Then why bother?
Yeah.
You should create stuff because you want to create it and you want it to be. I think of things when I'm creating things as I want this thing to be in the world.
Yeah.
Not, I want everybody to read this and I want to make $1 million. I just want it to exist for me.
Yeah.
And if other people like it, cherry on top. Beautiful. Chef's kiss. But almost everything I write, because I want it to exist. Almost everything I draw is because I wanted to see a blue duck.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Why'd you color the duck blue?
Yeah.
I just wanted to see a blue duck.
And I think that should be true of anybody who's creating anything, right? Yeah. Every version of Lehu.com is because I wanted it to exist, not because that site's popular or highly visited, right? And I don't care about that stuff, right? I care about like having a small group of people really like the things I'm doing more than I care about a large group of people following what I'm doing and not liking everything.
Yeah.
Right. And maybe that's a weird weird thing to think in a capitalist society, but I don't know if I even buy into that whole thing. So,
No.
I play the game because I have to. I want to feed everybody in the house, but I don't know if I really believe in it,
Yeah.
So anyways, thank you for recapping those episodes.
Yeah.
I always like listening to you. These are my favorite episodes to listen to back.
Yeah?
Yeah, because I just like your voice. I like hearing you talk.
Stop it. You're flirting.
I am flirting. You know what I'm sick and tired of, Lou? Oh no, you know what I'm sick and tired of, Harry? I'm sick and tired of eking my way through life. I'm sick and tired of being a nobody. But most of all, I'm sick and tired of having nobody.
And scene.
Great
work, everybody.
I love
Great
that
work.
movie so much.
All right.
I love the movie Liar Liar, and I love you.
I love you too, season finale.
The Lou and Me podcast is a Matthias production. The song is No Carpets by the New Forevers. Produced and edited by Moose. Hosted by Lou and me.
Thanks for listening.